Check it up, strike three, and the Sox take the finale against Kansas City.
After losing a pair to the Royals, the Sox salvaged the finale thanks to some great work from the relievers and just enough to get by the Royals, who are now 3.5 back. The Sox today welcome in the Cleveland Indians, who are rapping on the door from second place. It's a 2.5 game spread as we get you ready for a doubleheader at U.S. Cellular Field. The Sox at 26-18. The Indians are 3 over at 22-19. Thanks for joining us once again. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone, along with you. The Sox bullpen struggled a bit on the road trip, was back to its regular form, though, yesterday.
It was nice to see a game that had to be protected, and the bullpen did just that. So it made a winner out of Carlos Rodon, and we'll take a look. Matt Albers first. Buries a fastball inside on Lorenzo Cain. Then it's Hosmer's turn. He pops it up from Zach Duke. The bullpen is rolling right along. Then it's Nate Jones, who came on. 2 strikeouts, one a perfect slider, the other a high, tight fastball, and leaving it up to David Robertson. He buries a curveball in the dirt. Nice stop by Alex Avila, and David Robertson chalks up another save. So the bullpen was brilliant yesterday. Hopefully they'll have 2 chances today to be brilliant.
Sox have played so many close games. The offense turned it on enough yesterday in that 3-2 victory.
It was just enough runs, and 2 familiar characters who've been doing it all year. Todd Frazier, he reaches out, gets a high fastball, takes it into the bullpen bar. So Frazier hits his 13th, and then in this case, it's the milkman that always rings twice. 2 for 4 with a double and 2 runs batted in, and that's all it took. 3 runs, and the same guys who have been doing it all year, doing it once again. So again, this isn't a team that scores early. It's not a team that scores often, but yesterday it was effective.
What do we have starting pitcher-wise for game number 1, Steve?
I think we have a dichotomy of pitchers. We've got a veteran right-hander against a rookie right-hander. As you can see, Mike Clevenger, hard-throwing right-hander, brilliant in AAA. Matt Latos, who started this season at 5-0, only to fall on some hard times, but against the Indians has been brilliant. 3-0, even though the ERA is up there. So Matt wants to get back on track. He wants to get the curveball over the plate. He wants to make sure he gets ahead with the fastball, then goes to his wipeout pitch. If he can do that, it should be a successful first game.
It's a huge series. Sox and Indians early on in the season, late May. 2.5 games separate them. Put your caps on. Get ready for 18 innings of baseball from U.S. Cellular Field. Pitch number 1 coming next.
Baseball on CSN Chicago is brought to you in part by Toyota. Discover more in a Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com or your local Toyota dealer today. Let's go places. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. Audi. Truth in engineering. And by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV.
Blue sky overhead. Time to play 2 at U.S. Cellular Field. Game 1 of this series is the prelude to the nightcap here at the Ball Yard, and we give you the starting lineup for the Cleveland Indians. And Terry Francona draws out this 9 at 22 and 19. Carlos Santana, not your typical leadoff hitter type. He's more of the pitch-seeing type. Lindor at the 3 spot, the very young, talented shortstop. Yan Gomes 6. Lonnie Chisenhall off the DL since the last time we saw the Indians. And Michael Martinez, a rare start, in 9.
And let's take a look at the defense and how Robin's going to line them up behind Matt Latos left to right. It's a familiar outfield. Melky, Austin, and Adam left to right. Todd Frazier, Jimmy Rollins, Carlos Sanchez, and Jose Abreu in the infield. Deandre Navarro gets a nod behind the plate. And Matt Latos is our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher, looking for his 6th win of the year, his ERA an even 4, in this his 9th start. He's thrown very well against the Indians, and he remembers them from when he was a member of the Cincinnati Reds, and he would play in that Inter-Ohio series for what they call the Ohio Cup, where Cincinnati went head-to-head with the Indians. The umpires for the game this afternoon: Joe West behind the plate, Gabe Morales, a holdover from the last crew at first, and it's Kerwin Danley and Toby Bassner. So we're ready for baseball in a doubleheader today, and time for Jason to take it away.
Well, thank you, Steve. And you may recall a couple of years ago, the Sox and Indians played the longest doubleheader in history.
I absolutely recall that.
You ready just in case?
Hoping for not a repeat today. Quick wins is the key.
Carlos Santana to lead it off against Latos, and a strike taken to begin our twin bill this afternoon. Santana has the 9th best walk rate in baseball, over 15%. And he swings here to pop it up and back of home.
Santana, a switch hitter, originally in the Dodgers organization. He came over in a trade for Casey Blake. The Dodgers felt that Blake was the man to put him over the top for the playoffs. They knew Santana was going to be a good one, and at that point he was a catcher. Then he shifted to first base. Now he's shifting mostly to the DH role.
0-2, and he takes downstairs. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Santana, who was just 1 for 8 in that opening series, an abbreviated series at U.S. Cellular Field.
As you can see, he's a much more potent option as a left-hand hitter, and that's how he looks out at Latos.
In the air and playable. Latos. 1 down for Cleveland here in the first inning. A Cleveland team which just lost back-to-back games against Boston after a season-high 5-game win streak. Now, part of that was the Ohio Cup, and the Reds certainly have given up a lot of runs recently, and they're not the team that they were early in the year.
So Cleveland would like to see a whole lot more of Cincinnati. I'm not sure that they'll have that option anytime soon. And a Chicago area product, Jason Kipnis, steps in.
From the north side of town, he takes a ball.
There you look at what he's done here, and he's loved hitting in front of the home folks, and his parents are at the game today.
Left field, Melky Cabrera on the move, and angling toward the warning track has out number 2.
This is going to be an interesting time if you're a pitcher, and not so interesting if you're a hitter, because the shadows are moving across home plate. The sun is right in the eyes of the left fielder, and Melky does a nice job of staying with it. So 2 up, 2 down. There you see the shadows. They're going to creep across home plate, making it very difficult for the hitters, which is usually a good thing, especially if it's difficult for their hitters. Our guys have great eyes.
Well, you always appreciate when something's difficult on a hitter, don't you?
Indeed I do.
The pitcher's oath. First pitch, strike to Lindor, who was 13 out of 24 during the Indians' 5-game win streak.
He's been a better hitter right-handed. .429, left-handed .282. This is a guy that's slowly becoming one of the better base stealers in the league. Now, he doesn't steal as often as some of the others, but he swiped 8, been caught only 1 time. The Indians as a team have swiped 28. They've been caught just 8 times. Conversely, the Sox, 16 steals. They've been caught 10 times.
1-1 from Latos. It's going to be a tough play for Frazier. Off the bare hand. Throws on the go and got him. How about that from Todd Frazier? 1-2-3 inning for Matt Latos. To the bat rack next for the Sox. Major League Baseball, Adam Eaton at the top of the best on base percentage on the team. Melky Cabrera has been hot recently with a .326 the last 11. Sanchez in the lineup once again in the 7th spot all the way down to Jackson.
Let's take a look now. Terry Francona is going to line up his defense behind Clevenger. It's Marlon Byrd, Michael Martinez, Lonnie Chisenhall in the outfield, and Ramirez, Lindor, Kipnis, and Napoli in the infield with Yan Gomes, a talented catcher behind the plate, and Mike Clevenger on the hill. He's our Lexus Pursuing Perfection starting pitcher. That his first major league start. The numbers don't look real good, but he tired in the 6th. He's got great stuff. You see, only 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. He has a wipeout slider. He has Tim Lincecum's former hair, and he's got a big arm. He throws the ball probably 94, 95, and can get it up in spring training. They had him at 97.
Funny story to go along with that hair for Clevenger as Eaton stands in and fouls it away. He spent his freshman year of college at the Citadel, where one of the first things they do to you is shave off your hair. They call the freshmen there knobs because their head looks like a doorknob. So the hair is back.
Well, that's why he spent only 1 year there before moving on to junior college and then on to the draft.
Eaton on a 9-game hit streak takes outside. A ball and a strike to Adam Eaton, who is 0 for 4 this year with a couple of strikeouts against the Cleveland Indians.
That was 95 down in the zone, and before his last start, his first major league start, number one, he said he's never been that nervous in his life. Of course, he never made a major league start before. But about a half hour before the game, he started expelling whatever he had for lunch. And they just kind of laughed at him. Terry Francona thought it was very funny that he was that nervous.
Swing and a miss, strike 3, and down goes Eaton.
Let's go back to the way the first inning ended, and it's a great play by Todd Frazier because it's a squibber, and he was playing wide of the bag. He came on, the bare hand throw in the same motion, getting Lindor, who's got speed, by a good full step. Great way to start it off, and once again, good D, which seems to show up every day.
One down for Rollins. And a ground ball right side. Kipnis is on it.
Pretty good play to his left, and with the shift, Kipnis was already on the outfield grass, so he had plenty of room to roam. And he shows you that he hasn't lost anything defensively. 29-year-old second baseman makes a good solid play and robs Jimmy Rollins of a base hit.
So with 2 out, here is Todd Frazier, who was actually the first guy that Clevenger faced in Major League Spring Training in his first ever Major League Spring Training.
They brought him down there just to throw to some hitters. Little did they know that with that very good arm and lively stuff, he would be up as quickly as he is.
Terry Pluto from the Cleveland paper had a great story about Clevenger and his time in spring training, and he ended up breaking Frazier's bat, and he thought, wow, I just broke his bat. One of those shocking moments for a young pitcher. Maybe I can do this. Maybe Todd can do that. Home run number 14 for Frazier, way out of here.
In just his major league start, Mike Clevenger is going to learn that if you want to go inside on power hitters, you get it way in off the plate. A forward home run replay. This is a bomb. He hits it a long way, gets every bit of it, gets ahead of the bat out. That ball was not inside near enough, but it looked awfully good for Frazier. 14-34 on the power numbers. Both lead the ball club, and it's a very happy dugout. Sox break on top.
And with that home run, another generous donation from the Alex Stelius family in loving memory of Ursula. Frazier has been very donative this season. 14. As you mentioned, 1 ball, 1 strike on Melky Cabrera. That's his second homer against the Indians in just 3 games.
The big home run in yesterday's game came to right field. It wasn't far, but he hit it on the line. This one he hit way back in left field.
1-2 on Melky Cabrera. Frazier, with that homer, is now tied for the MLB lead with Nolan Arenado and Yoenis Cespedes, with a lot of baseball to play today. Check swing from Melky on a ball low and away. 2-2.
They got Clevenger from the Angels. Probably wouldn't have gotten him with this good of an arm if he hadn't gone through Tommy John surgery. They got him for Vinny Pastano. So it was a good trade for the Tribe.
Second base, Kipnis for out number 3. But the Sox are out ahead. The Jersey boy did it one more time. Frazier, a solo shot. 1-0.
time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Now time for our greater coverage of baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. And let's take a look at Todd Frazier as the updated home run leaders. Todd Frazier with 14, Trumbo 13, and then Cano, Davis, and Machado tied with 12. So Todd Frazier is tuning it up at the right time, and now Jose Abreu has got to follow.
It's a tough act to follow.
He's been hot, and the fact is that he can hit home runs any part of the ballpark. We've seen it illustrated graphically the last 2 days.
It's Mike Napoli. And he takes a strike from Matt Latos, who went 1-2-3 in the first inning. Napoli tied for second in baseball with 62 strikeouts.
The big loss for these Indians is Michael Brantley, because he had off-season surgery. He didn't respond all that well, although they felt he was on time in spring training. Then spent some more time on the DL before finally coming off. He just didn't hit the ball as well as he can, finally going back on the DL, and now there's no time frame for him to come back to the Indians.
They activated Brantley. Remember, in spring training, he ended up playing a couple games, one against the Sox, activated on the 25th, then DL'd again on May the 14th. So just off for a couple of weeks. As Napoli hits one deep to left field, Cabrera back at the warning track and the wall, and we're tied.
Home run number 8, and Mike Napoli has always been that kind of hitter. You can make him look very bad, but make one mistake, and that ball was up in the zone, and he hurts you. 8 home runs, 27 driven in, and just like that, a solo home run matched by a solo home run. And here's our Ford home run replay. A rolling breaking ball up in his eyes. These go a long way. And for Napoli, he hits it way up in the air and into the bullpen.
Aw, shucks, says Matt Latos. As here is Jose Ramirez, the switch hitter, to take a strike.
And that's the 7th home run that Matt has given up.
Fouled back 0-2 on Ramirez, 23-year-old playing third base with 3 right-handers on the bench as Napoli hits his second homer against the Sox this year, just like Frazier with his second against the Indians.
Ramirez loses the bat, and it goes flying, and everybody emerges unscathed.
Two strikes. Again, foul.
Ramirez is a manager's dream because he can literally play anywhere and not only give you a real credible defensive effort, but he's hitting close to 300. So as he's gotten more playing time, he's driven in 15 runs.
Ball's up. 1 ball and 2 strikes on Ramirez, who's one of the best 2-strike hitters in Major League Baseball. Nearly a 300 hitter at 298 with 2 strikes. 2-2.
Very consistent. 286 right-handed, 299 left-handed. His lone home run has come from the left side.
Leto's not happy with himself there. 3 balls, 2 strikes. (3-2), and he gets Ramirez on pitch number 7.
First strikeout of the day for Matt as he throws some high heat by him. That ball is just out of the zone, too close to take, and Ramirez down on strikes. So with every passing minute in this game, the shadows are creeping up closer to home plate. And soon that hitter will be immersed in the shadows with the pitcher and everybody else in the field in the bright sunlight. That's not a good visual for hitters.
Now Gomes inside and low, ball, no strikes. What does it look like to a hitter then?
He's standing in shadow, so your eyes have to adjust to that. He's looking out at bright sunlight. There's some hitters can adjust well. Some guys will actually wear their sunglasses, or they have some hitting glasses, which is a lighter lens that they'll use at the plate to combat that. But it's why they don't usually start games at 4 o'clock, because of the shadows, because it's so pitcher friendly. Now we've had the 2 home runs hit without those shadows.
Rollins at shortstop, just on the grass, loads up out number 2.
Sox fans, we want to hear from you throughout the doubleheader. Use the hashtag White Sox Talk on Twitter. Be sure to follow at CSN White Sox all season long for the latest news and your favorite team.
Are you using the hashtag White Sox Talk?
I always use that on my various tweeting efforts, except for my audio tweets.
Well, you can use it on your audio tweets as well. Chisenhall to second base, thankfully ending that conversation. Sanchez to Abreu. 1-2-3 after the home run from Napoli, and here we are tied at 1, middle 2. Field, we're offering specially priced tickets to all of Southpaw's friends and fans. To purchase specially priced tickets, visit whitesox.com/SPB Day. Happy birthday, Southpaw. Steve will bring you presents.
I will. Picks
to click today. Carlos Sanchez and the crew with 7. Melky Cabrera and you, Steve Stone. And I'll take Brett Laurie trying to get out of the cellar. It's a bad place to be, the cellar.
Well, the cellar's actually pretty good at this point because you're a come-from-behind type of horse as opposed to a front-runner. Like Larry said, I can change my pick to click, but there's a price if I want to move to Frazier. Might be worth it.
It's an early home run. Well, it's not going to be the game winner. We know that.
At this point, no.
Well, at which point would it be the game winner?
They deduct a run for some reason.
First pitch to Jose Abreu, who's down in the 5th spot for the first time this season. He was at the 2 position the first 2 games against Kansas City. Got the day off yesterday. And 0-2.
That was 94 low and away. Perfect pitch. So the arm for Clevenger is very good. Now fully back from his Tommy John surgery. He's a very intense competitor. That's one of the things they truly like about him, and he's fearless, and for a young guy, a great attribute to have.
25-year-old on 0-2. Abreu lines it to left field, and Bird is there for out number 1, but he hit it hard to bring up Laurie.
This is a good sign because this is a breaking ball that spins. Doesn't break very much. Jose goes out and gets it, hits it on the sweet spot of the bat, a sinking line drive, and Marlon Bird, who stayed right with it and made the play just off the grass.
The one down for Laurie. See, that's one of those hard hit balls that you're happy that there are advanced statistics for to show that Abreu hit the ball hard. I mean, 0 for 1 isn't every 0 for 1. They don't all look the same.
Well, that's how good offensive streaks start. Usually starts with taking a walk or two, which Jose doesn't do very much, as we know. With him, the second stage of a streak is starting to hit the ball hard. Then eventually you're going to start finding the holes if you make solid contact.
Ball 3 from Clevenger to Laurie. He's got 19 walks this year, 2 off the team lead. Swinging, he pops it up off 3-0 and foul.
Well, you know he's going to get a fastball, and Robin, thinking that it'll probably be somewhere near the zone, gave him a 3-0 green light. He got a perfect pitch to hit. That ball was inner third, and it was right around belt high, just fouled it straight back.
Three and one. Is off the plate, ball 4.
You take a look at the shadows, and now the hitter is in shadows with the pitcher in bright sunshine, and the light standard, that shadow is moving closer to the pitcher. The last thing you want to do with this visibility is start to walk hitters. Now, Clevenger, a young pitcher, fell behind and eventually walked Laurie, but it's something that a veteran pitcher thinks about. With this visibility, you want to get as many innings as you can, throw as many strikes as you can, and limit your walks, because you're just helping out a hitter who doesn't see the ball real well.
Ball 1 to Sanchez. Well, the question is, how does a hitter then walk if he can't see the ball?
You can see part of it. You just can't pick up the spin as well, and that's one of the big things. Now, rolling breaking balls you're going to be able to pick up, but tight spin on the slider or curveball, with this visibility, you can't pick it up.
Ball, no strikes on Sanchez. Low again.
That's going to send Yan Gomes out to talk with his young right-hander in just his second major league start. So they brought him to spring training, and they said, you know, we want you to face some hitters, just get a feel for it. For the first time he was facing live hitters, which is just batting practice. Terry Francona in his office hears some snorting going on in the hallway outside his office. He asked somebody, what's that? And the AAA manager who was there at the time said, oh, that's Clevenger. He likes to get really psyched up. He said he's just facing batting practice hitters. He goes, well, that's just the way he does things. So he was racing back and forth and getting the adrenaline up.
Strike 1 to Sanchez. 2 balls and a strike. You never got that fired up before a game, did you? The
no,
snorting and the racing.
I tried to run as little as possible before games, trying to conserve my energy. But yeah, getting the adrenaline flowing is essential, especially for a young starting pitcher without a lot of experience.
Laurie at first, 2-1, and he's got a strike on the outside third, 2-2.
There's a look at what the players have to contend with. It's beautiful at the ballpark, not a cloud in the sky once again. 82 degrees at game time. You couldn't ask for better weather.
Throw on Laurie, who's back in safely. Brent 2 for 4 in steals this year.
Clevenger just showed our entire ball club that he has a very good move to first base. Now, they have scouting reports, but they probably can't tell how quick his feet are. They're very quick to first.
Late swing, strike 3 and 2 out. Maybe the shadows came into play there on a late decision.
Well, there's no doubt what happened was he threw him his version of a changeup. It was 88 as opposed to 95 on his fastball. And this one just dives away from Sanchez, who didn't see the ball really well. And he's well out in front. Usually when you swing under a ball, not a good sign.
So 2 down, Laurie at first, and Deanna Navarro to bat in a 1-1 tie thanks to 2 solo home runs. Sox and Indians separated by 2.5 games in the Central. Cleveland had won 5 in a row before back-to-back losses to Boston. Kansas City 3.5 back. Detroit 4.5 back.
The hitting with these two teams virtually identical. Indians came in hitting .252, Sox .250. Indians have hit 40 home runs, Sox 38 coming in, so it's 41 and 39 on the home runs. Sox pitching has been much better than the Indians, and the Indians fielding just a touch better than the Sox.
A Cleveland team which has lost 4 of 6 to Minnesota this year. 4 of the 11 wins for the Twins have come against Cleveland. So thanks for that, Minnesota.
Thank you. It's Terry Francona, one of the best managers around, talking with Mickey Callaway, who's his pitching coach, the bearded man on, well, the center of your shot right now.
2-1. That's a strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Navarro. Austin Jackson to follow.
We talked about hitters wearing sunglasses. That's what Deoner's doing, trying to get some semblance of how the ball's breaking.
Laurie had a 1-out walk. He is at first, 2-2. There he goes, and the pitch is swung on and missed. Clevenger strikes out back-to-back Sox players, and we're tied at 1 after 2. Where do you start?
Well, he's starting at the end and then bites the outside of the bun, which is kind of unique. A unique way for a youngster to handle a 2-foot hot dog. But well, perhaps that's the way to do it.
Even more importantly, we have some new items here on the prize shelf today. Where do you start with these Snickers bars?
Well, here's the thing. I've got 2 Snickers bars. One says goofball, the other says grouchy. If you know anybody who's a goofy, grouchy guy, the 2 Snickers bars, you can have them, are yours, and we have the ever-present autographed Altoids. The dog you can't have, the score sheet which remains alive from the triple play game, and absolutely a literal plethora of other gifts which shall remain unnamed because you can't have them.
Well, you can have the Rubik's Cube, you can have the Abreu kid shirt.
Well, that's the thing that is surprising to me, that it's still available, the Abreu kids shirt.
On 1-0, well hit fly ball right center field. Austin Jackson under it, and Marlon Byrd is retired to begin the top of the 3rd.
Marlon Byrd's been a pretty good hitter for a long time, and he's been around seemingly forever. This is a guy that has made a lot of stops in the major leagues. His career started at Batavia in 1999. He's 38 years old. He's going to be 39 August 30th. And he still can swing the bat, which is why he still has a job.
Just outside the top 10 of oldest players in Major League Baseball this season, Marlon Byrd, with the Bartolo Colons of the world, the Ichiros of the world, R.A. Dickey. Foul at first for Michael Martinez, switch hitting center fielder in game 1.
Michael doesn't do any one thing well, but with Brantley on the shelf, the Indians looking for outfielders. They turn to Martinez, a switch hitter who hasn't had a right-handed at bat.
To right field into the corner, and that's a fair ball for Michael Martinez, who is on the gas pedal into second with 2 strikes. It's a 1-out double.
This ball is low and in, and doesn't fool him at all. He gets ahead of the bat out, gets it on the sweet spot, and drives it into the corner. So with an out, the go-ahead run in scoring position.
For Carlos Santana, the very patient designated hitter who popped up to Latos as the first batter of tonight's ball game. Ball low on Santana. To first, and Abreu off one hop. Martinez races to third. 2 out for the Indians here in the third.
Had Santana not broken his bat, this probably would have arrived at Abreu a little more quickly. It's up in the strike zone, and Jose does a nice job of scooping it, then looks at third to see if he's got a shot at Martinez. He didn't, so he takes it himself, moving the go-ahead run 90 feet away. For one of the most effective of the Indians hitters, Jason Kipnis,
who so far this year has seen 185 first pitches. He has swung at 8 of them.
So just about the time you think, well, okay, so he hardly ever swings at the first pitch, then you have some problems if he does indeed, if you decide to just lay it in.
Strike 1.
So it does not move to 9. He does take the first pitch.
The drama unfolds here in the third. He goes after the second one. Frazier on the sideways hop for out number 3. 1-out double does no harm. 2.5 deep, 1-1. Nationals Thursday, June 9th at 7:10 p.m. The first 10,000 fans will receive a free Todd Frazier t-shirt presented by the Village of Bedford Park. Bring your business home to Bedford Park and win big. Purchase your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME. A Frazier t-shirt. Does it have him just talking to nobody in particular on the front of it?
He's pretty good at that. I don't know if you know this, but the Village of Bedford Park was incorporated in 1940.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was just an aside, just in case you wondered how long they've been a village.
Thank you for reading that seal that was on the screen. That was very nice
really?
of you. Yeah.
Jeez, I gotta erase my notes now.
You can keep your notes. You just already used it. Here is Austin Jackson, who was 2 for 8 in that opening series against Cleveland here at U.S. Cellular Field, and sprays this ball foul. Well, with 4 games against Cleveland for the Sox, this is one of those series, and every series is important because there are 162 games, but one of those series where you'd like to get out ahead and win game 1 of the doubleheader, as Jackson takes strike 2.
You do that and realize that even if you split, they can't gain any ground. And just 1 game back in the loss column, the Indians have played pretty solid baseball until running into Boston. But there's a lot of teams that will play good baseball before running into Boston. Red Sox are strong.
I was looking this morning at the doubles numbers that they've put up this year. It's asinine how much they lead the doubles category by. There's a line drive for Jackson. This could be 2. Austin Jackson around first, speeding towards second with a leadoff 2-base hit. His 11th double of the year.
It was another breaking ball that didn't break sharply, and Austin was able to stay right with it and take it into the corner. Marlon Byrd does not have a very strong arm at this point of his career, and so knowing that he was going to be running away from the throw, Austin Jackson thinking about 2 bases when it left the bat. Promising way to start the 3rd inning.
And on the subject of those doubles, the Red Sox have 21 more doubles than any other team in Major League Baseball. And that's wild this early in the year, as Eaton stands in and does the job. Puts it on the ground right side. Jackson to 3rd with 1 out.
There's an example of a pitcher trying to do what he has to do, which is keep the ball away from Eaton, trying to force him to go to left or center field. Take a look at the location. Gomes wants it away. This is an off-speed pitch for Clevenger. He throws it away, but because it was 88 and not 95, Adam was able to pull it, getting the job done and moving Austin Jackson 90 feet away from the go-ahead run.
So now Rollins with a less dramatic shift on than last time, as he bounced out to Kipnis in short right in the 1st inning. There's ball 1.
So with a runner at 3rd now, Jason Kipnis does not have the luxury of going back on the outfield grass as he was positioned the first time up.
Way outside, 2-0 for Jimmy Rollins. Two-0 pitch. Ripped to right field. Rollins drives home. Jackson 2-1 Sox.
RBI number 8, and an example of what happens when you have a man at 3rd base. You can't shift as drastically. There was a chance if Kipnis was back into right field, he might have had a shot at this. But with Kipnis playing a straightaway second base, playing him to pull, but still on the dirt, that ball's a base hit.
So Rollins on, Frazier up after his solo homer in the 1st. Sox retake the lead. And a throw on Rollins. Frazier takes low outside, a ball, no strikes.
I wouldn't expect that he's going to see any fastballs to the inner portion unless Gomes wants to throw it in on his hands off the plate. And that's really only when he gets even or ahead in the count.
1-0. Gets away from Gomes in the dirt, and Rollins very leisurely gets to second.
Gomes didn't have much of a shot at that one. Anytime you throw a fastball and it hits in front of the plate, it's very difficult for the catcher. And this hit the corner of the plate. It just flattens out. When it hits the rubber of home plate, the ball won't hop. It will slide under the glove more times than not for Clevenger, his first wild pitch in his major league career.
But it is a strike in slow pitch softball.
Yes.
Well outside, 3-0 on Frazier, who is turning it up with 7 of his 14 homers in the last 2 weeks worth of games for him. That is good news for the Sox. Rollins at second, 3-0. Frazier takes outside, ball 4. Clevenger fighting himself with the strike zone. 6 of the last 7 have been out of the zone, and the 1 was the Rollins RBI single.
Todd Frazier has done it both ways today. He's been brilliant with the glove all year, and here's a little looper off the end of the bat. And he makes the play bare hand, throwing the same motion. Then he gets a fastball and just clobbers it. And the reason why Clevenger just dropped his head, any pitcher by the sound knows when a ball is going to be gone.
That ball was disfigured.
That sound was like an explosion around home plate.
Another first pitch ball, this time to Melky Cabrera, with Abreu on deck in the 5 spot today. Rather rude greeting to Cleveland, visiting Chicago for the 2nd time this year. This is game 1 of the 4-game series. Again off the plate, 2-0.
There's a very good chance that Clevenger might have a problem with his thumb. And if that's the case, if it is a blister, it's going to be very difficult to get the feel and keep the ball in the zone.
Why do you say that?
I say it because of this. Yeah, too old to suck his thumb, and probably there's a little abrasion there. He's hoping it doesn't form into a full-fledged blister.
Golfed foul by Melky Cabrera, 2-1.
Still throwing at 94, 95 miles an hour, so the velocity is still there. He's had some location problems. Neither manager wants to even think about going to their bullpen early in this, although both teams can use a designated 26th player.
Sox have called up Tommy Kahnle from AAA Charlotte. Now 2-2 on Melky. So what does a blister do for those uninitiated? A blister on the thumb, how does that change what a pitcher's doing?
Well, first of all, the thumb is usually what's used on a seam to help you get more rotation, either on a slider or a curveball. If you do have a blister, you lose the feeling in that area, and because both pitches, slider and curveball, are feel pitches, you lose that feeling, and they have a tendency to roll as opposed to break sharply.
2-2. Off the plate, 3-2.
He missed by a wide margin that time.
Two on, 1 out, 3-2 for Melky. Up the middle to shortstop, Lindor. Jumping for out number 2. Nice play.
Well, a nice piece of base running by Austin Jackson, or Jimmy Rollins. And the reason is that being a shortstop, he had a real good feeling this was not going to make it over the head of Lindor. So he just goes back to the bag, no thought of getting doubled off. But that's a product of knowing exactly where the shortstop is setting up. If you're going to be a good base runner, you better look and see where the defenders are setting up in the infield, and you'll know when you have to get back to the bag.
So 2 on, 2 out, and Abreu missed again. Ball, no strikes. That's 4 straight first pitch balls from Clevenger, 2 Sox hitters.
Now let's see if he can follow the first at bat where he hit a line drive rocket to Bird in left field, up with another at bat where he makes good contact.
Snaps in for a strike, 1-1.
And although that was a high breaking ball, it wasn't a hanging breaking ball because that one broke late and Jose gave up on it. It had the whole zone.
Rollins at second, Frazier at first, 2 out, 3rd inning. In the air, right side, Kipnis on the retreat, and the inning comes to an end. So the Sox do get a run. Jimmy Rollins RBI single, 2-1 Sox. On hashtag SoxMath on Twitter. First correct answer wins a prize. Number of innings scheduled for today at U.S. Cellular Field minus the number of innings in the Sox longest game this year by inning. Multiply the number of innings in the longest game the Sox have ever played. Divide by the number of doubleheaders. As there is a ball low. Number of doubleheaders the Sox have currently scheduled, including today. That's your question.
This is really far too easy. Are you building to a climax in the second game?
That's right. It'll be, well, here's the thing about Game 2 Sox math. It's going to involve situations from Game 1. So you have to watch Game 1 or understand Game 1 in order to win Game 2 of Sox math.
No geography today?
Ground ball is short. Just left of second base. There's your geography. Rollins throws him out, 1 away.
Keeping Lindor off base is a pretty good way to hold a 1-run lead because he is a very good and getting better base stealer.
Here's one more look at the question just in case you didn't have it for long enough. So there you get take a look at it. Innings scheduled for today minus innings the longest game. Multiply longest game innings Sox have ever played. Divide by the number of doubleheaders the Sox have scheduled for this season. There's strike 1 from Latos to Napoli, who provided the only Cleveland Thunder so far. A solo homer, second inning. Leto's getting ahead. 2 strikes on Napoli.
He stayed away on the first 2 pitches, and Navarro wants a breaking ball in the dirt.
And he's got it.
He got it. Terry Francona, the fine skipper of the Indians. Since he moved to the American League in 2004, he's had 11 straight years over 500. They don't get much better than that.
How about that?
Excellent run for him, his 4th year with the Indians. After some great years with the Boston Red Sox, including 2 World Series championship teams.
Two and two. That's off the plate. 3-2 for Napoli. Leto's 1 hit allowed in the home run department, 1 double allowed, but no singles. No walks. 3-2. And there is ball 4. So 1 out, 1 on to bring up Ramirez.
Leto's is unhappy with himself. He realizes when you get ahead 0-2, only to walk whoever it is that's hitting, it's not a joyous moment for a pitcher.
What is the most joyous moment for a pitcher?
When you're walking off the mound after the 27th out, you've completed the game, and you're getting a standing ovation from a very appreciative home crowd. That is probably as joyous a moment as there is for any starting pitcher, or short of 9 innings, getting the win.
Inside on Ramirez, ball and a strike to the 3rd baseman, who struck out in the 2nd inning.
Pitchers take pride if they don't get the win themselves. They take pride in the number of starts they have and the number of wins the team has when they start the game. Because sometimes you have no control over your winning and losing personally. If you keep your team in the game long enough, it's a pretty good moment also.
Ball and 2 strikes on Ramirez. Napoli at first, 1 out. Double play in order. And fouled off by Ramirez. Cleveland so far this year 11-6 against the Central. Sox are 8-3 against the division, with a bunch of games coming up against Cleveland, Kansas City, and then Detroit on that road trip. Shadows creeping up on Leto's for 1-2. Tapper to 3rd. Frazier has a play at 2nd and gets 1 there to cut down Napoli. And 2 out. Ramirez now at 1st. Provide your guests with the ultimate all-inclusive White Sox experience in the Home Plate Club or Magellan Scout Seats. These 2 premium seating areas are the best way to entertain your most important clients, employees, friends, or family. For more information, call 312-674-1000 or visit whitesox.com/premium seating.
Gomes came over from the Toronto Blue Jays in what turned out to be just a great trade, because the Blue Jays felt they were trading a backup catcher. The Indians didn't know exactly what the ceiling was for Gomes, and he's become their everyday guy.
And a strike to Gomes, and they've needed him too with the injury to Roberto Perez.
Yep.
Indians down a catcher. They offloaded Adam Moore, so there's been a lot of shakeup at that position this year. Right side, an arching foul, 0-2 for Gomes.
For Gomes last year, he had a right knee sprain, and that put him on the shelf for a while. It was an injury-interrupted season. He was able to manage just 95 games, hit just .231 after 2014, where he really started to come alive as an everyday guy, hitting .278. A big year for him, 21 home runs, 76 driven in. Indians traded Esmiel Rogers for Mike Aviles and Yan Gomes back in 2012.
Down goes Gomes. Latos works through the 1-out walk. So the Sox maintain the lead. 2-1. Bottom four next. Well, Cooperative Telephone in Rockwell, Iowa. And they may have played Sox math today.
Very well could have been, and we've got a multiple winner.
SSS Penold is a problem here. He is basically made sure that he's the 1 seed in the Tournament of Champions. The answer is 18 innings minus 12, the longest game, times 25 inning game back in the 1980s, and then 1 doubleheader scheduled. So to Patrick, congratulations, into Mr. Shuey. Y 1, 2, 4, 3. You win something off the prize shelf as well. Tournament of Champions is being fleshed out now, but what we're going to do is after the first half of the season, we're going to have a really difficult Sox math question for the multi-winners and have them duke it out during a game. Ground ball, shortstop, and a base hit for Laurie.
We've seen some spectacular plays from Francisco Lindor. This time he was trying to make yet another one, ranging far to his right. This ball does not stick in the glove as he tries to transfer, and it's doubtful if he'd have had him anyway. But a big effort by a very athletic, very talented young shortstop.
So Laurie is on. Sanchez is batting. Sox leading 2-1. Sanchez fouls it away.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights of Francisco Lindor. There's the exact same play he tried. Tremendous hands, big arm, again in the hole and getting rid of it quickly. And you can't do it better than that. The bare hand pick at shortstop, the dive up the middle. Lindor is one of the most talented of the young shortstops, and there's a bunch of them in the major leagues now. With the Tournament of Champions, you're probably going to have the whole second half of the season to actually come up with the right answer. That's how tough it's going to be.
It's going to be very difficult. Yeah. So anybody that's a multi-time winner at Sox Math will be entered in for a grand prize.
Yes, you get a jar of peanut butter.
Signed by Connor McKnight. throw to first, and Laurie is back
Yeah,
in.
we talked about the quick feet of Clevenger. You can't take any liberties at first base because he can get it over there very quickly. I talked with Connor McKnight before the game.
The venerable pre- and post-game host on the radio side.
He said he's going to start playing up his signed sunflower seeds because they've been sitting around.
They're on the sub-prize shelf today. Sanchez flies it foul.
Most of the Sox hitters should have a much better look at Clevenger because now he's in shadows as well as they are. And there you see how things look from the infield. Still a great time to pitch. The lights are on, but they haven't taken control at all. And if you started games at this time, ERAs would be very low across the board.
Strike 3 and 1 down. That's how you solve the live ball era. You just start games at 3:30, 4:10.
That certainly would be it. But right now, we're looking around the league. We've seen a lot of pitchers dominating. It's been that way the last couple of years. This year especially. Some big years for a lot of pitchers.
Chris Sale being one of them. We'll see him later on in this series. Clayton Kershaw doing the normal thing that he's been doing.
Jake Arrieta picking up this year just as he finished last year.
Tip foul, 0-1 on Navarro. Somebody's tweeted in, Jason Karsh tweets in, everyday Sox fans have basically come to accept that SSS P. Knowles is our Ken Jennings of Sox math, the Jeopardy champion. You gotta win more than 3 times to become Ken Jennings, though.
Yes, and you'll win far less dollars. I will go out on the line and say that.
You don't sneak a 5 into those Altoids tins?
No.
Navarro takes the ball, 1-1.
Although I do have a stack of Jason Benetti IOUs, and you can write in the figure.
Those will serve you well one day. Jackson on deck, Navarro at the plate. Clevenger against the Sox catcher. And a throw on Laurie, who launches back into the base. Game 2 of this doubleheader will come approximately 40 minutes after game number 1. Cody Anderson and Eric Johnson scheduled starters. Johnson not yet officially on the roster. The Sox can make a move in between games to get him on the roster. He's still the scheduled starter. Laurie's off, pitch down and away. Tough one to throw on, and no throw at all.
It was a pretty good pitch to throw, and Gomes could not get the handle. So it wasn't that he got a particularly good start. Gomes just couldn't pick up the baseball, and it was after that ball was in the dirt, so a little more difficult. Laurie in scoring position.
2-1 on Navarro. On the ground to first, and Napoli keeps the run off the board to the covering Clevenger. Laurie to third.
Well hit by Navarro, but a nice play from the converted catcher. Mike Napoli started out as a catcher with the Angels. Moved to some designated hitting and some first base play with Boston, and now playing a little first base with the Indians.
You said it earlier, Santana, a former catcher, then first baseman, now the designated hitter on this team. Bunch of converted players and flexible players like Martinez in center field, who can play the infield as well, as Jackson takes a strike.
Ramirez for a couple of years has been their all-purpose player, and it really helps, especially looking for outfielders with the absence of Michael Brantley.
0-2 on Jackson, who doubled and scored in the third. Chris Sale scheduled to start tomorrow. That's a 7:10 first pitch. Then 1:10 on Wednesday. Jose Quintana and Corey Kluber. A great matchup. Up high, 1-2. By the way, so people know, before we leave the bottom of the fourth, we are going to tweet out the Sox math question for the MLB TV followers. There's been some question about that. From now on, we're going to do that for you. 1-2 in the air, right field. Kipnis can't get there. It's down. Laurie comes home. 3-1 Sox.
Well, Clevenger can't believe it, and that was a great display of plate coverage. This ball is way out of the zone. It's that hard slider. I think Gomes thought that he was going to have to make a play in the dirt, but Austin Jackson just reached out and guided it into right field. Over the head of Kipnis and in front of Chisenhall, and the stolen base comes home to roost. Third stolen base of the year for Laurie, and RBI number 15 for Jackson.
Nice day for Austin Jackson. A double, a run scored, a single, and the RBI there as Eaton stands in. Fouled away. Ball and a strike to Eaton, who's been very consistent but has hit the ball well up the middle this year, and that's usually a good sign, Steve.
Well, as you can see, he's used left field 16 times, center field 14 times, so you can understand why the shift has always been toward left center field.
1-2.
With that in mind, if a pitcher decides to throw him a slider in, he's pitching away from his defense, because that's a pitch you can drive to right center or down the line and right. So with a huge gap in right center, it's the last thing you want Eaton to do.
Jackson at first, 1-2. Off the plate, 2-2 for Adam Eaton. Been the best hitter for the Sox overall this year in a bunch of different categories, including on base percentage. 2-2. Floated foul left hand side.
Nice job of staying alive on a tough pitch. At the off speed pitch, it was low and away.
Clevenger on 2-2, pitch number 70 of his day. 3-2. Adam Eaton hitting .333 the last 18 with the 11 walks, bumping that on base percentage near 400. He's 0 for 2 today.
But the second out, a productive out, because with Jackson at second base, nobody out, he went up there determined to pull the ball and did just that.
Same spot just about, and Kipnis throws him out. Sox do get another run. They have runs in the first, third, and fourth, and they lead 3-1.
official White Sox MasterCard debit card, only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Sox to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC. And what has been the characteristic Leary gigantic letters on our promos, those you can see from the dark side of the moon.
Both sides of the moon.
Oh.
Yeah. Paul no strikes to Chisenhall. Latos 4 innings, 2 hits allowed, and the lead 3-1. Fouled away, 1 ball, 1 strike. Matt Latos spells his name M-A-T Latos as opposed to the typical M-A-T-T. His wife a couple years ago said, "Hey, I'd like to have a pet," to Matt Latos. And Matt said, "Okay, what kind of pet?" She said, "I'd like to have a cat." 1-1 is fouled away, 1-2. And he said, "Well, I don't really like cats, but if you really need to have a cat, we'll have a cat." So she gets a cat. And the cat very quickly cozies up to Matt Latos. Cat loves him. He's not exactly as affectionate back. So they go to Cincinnati. Matt is playing for the Reds. That's down the line to left field. Melky Cabrera gets there quickly, and Chisenhall has to test the brake pads. Leadoff single, nothing more. So Latos has this cat, and a member of the Reds media relations department sees the cat, hears about the cat, and names the cat Cat Latos because Matt's spelling is M-A-T. So C-A-T, Cat Latos. Well, I asked Matt about the cat a couple weeks ago, and he said, "Everybody asks me about that darn cat. I'm sick of people asking me about the cat." And people ask him because it's got the name Cat Latos. Not only did he not name the cat Cat Latos, but he doesn't even like cats.
I'm catatonic.
Swing and a miss by Bird. 0-1.
So that's, for most cat lovers, that's an endearing story. Yeah. How's the cat holding up?
Cat's doing okay. Cat Latos.
Did he like the start of Matt, his dad?
I think so.
Yeah.
Unwitting dad. Ball's rocketed out to center field. Austin Jackson back at the wall, and it's gone. Marlon Byrd gets up and out. It's 3-3.
He hit the ball very hard toward right center the first time up, and that time took it out of the ballpark. His 4th home run of the year. He's now driven in 18. And the game is tied. Our Ford home run replay. Both home runs have been on breaking balls up in the zone. This one driven the other way. Austin has to just look up, and it's in the seats.
Couple of home runs for Cleveland, and a 3-3 tie. Nobody out. Hit well to right. Eaton going back. Eaton jumps and can't get there. Michael Martinez is 2 for 2 with a couple of doubles.
This ball is hit like a rocket. And it's a fastball, outer third, and that line drive double is going to bring Don Cooper out from the dugout to have a word with Latos.
So single homer double in the 5th.
Now Santana will have a job to do, and that is pull the ball. For him, an easy thing to do. He's played as a dead pull hitter from both sides of the plate.
In the dirt, ball 1. Well, this Cleveland group has not been a magnificent home run hitting team. They had 40 before this game started that was tied for 20th in baseball. But all the runs so far this afternoon have come on homers.
Latos has now given up 8 home runs, the same total as Carlos Rodon. Those 8 home runs in 49 innings.
Those are 16 of the 37, now 39 the Sox have allowed this year. Up high, 3-0 on Santana.
Don Cooper wants the bullpen to start to work.
Strike called, 3-1. Santana yanked back to the plate. Santana does the job. Laurie to first. Sanchez, I should say. And 1 out, runner at third.
We talked to Jason Kipnis about the responsibilities of a 2-hitter as you look at Zach Putnam loosening up. Dan Jennings is loosening, but he's not throwing the baseball. Kipnis said it's a situational thing. He goes, I know when I have to pull the ball. I also know when a guy's going to stop me from doing that. He said my natural tendency when a pitcher does that is line the ball to left center field. He goes, that's actually my natural stroke. He said I can hook the ball and sometimes I know when to bunt. So a situation now with the infield in at all 4 positions and the go-ahead run 90 feet away.
Latos with strike 1 to Kipnis.
He's driven in 26, which is a pretty high total for a number 2 hitter.
Hit pretty well historically against Latos. Is 4 for 11 coming in. Ahead 0-2, Matt Latos on Jason Kipnis.
Kipnis has fanned 41 times this year, which is a pretty high total. That's second behind Mike Napoli.
Just missed. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Would have been a big strikeout for Latos.
Pitchers normally don't go after strikeouts, but Matt could use no contact here.
Fouled off. 3-1. Sox had the lead. Then Chisenhall singled. Bird homered. Tied at 3. Martinez a double. Santana moved him over, and here we are. Top 5, 1-2 on Kipnis. Broken bat. Abreu freezes the runner. Martinez 2 down.
It was right in on the hands of Kipnis, and with the infield in, there's nothing that Martinez could do. So some good pitching by Latos as he gets this slider, shatters the bat of Kipnis. Jose takes a look at third, making sure he freezes Martinez before retreating to the bag. And there you look at Martinez as he comes down the line, realizing that he's dead to rights at the plate. So he goes back to the bag.
So now 2 down. Martinez at third. And Lindor, the shortstop, who's grounded out twice. Inside and high, ball, no strikes. Popped him up. Rollins is back. And that'll do it. Indians get 2 runs, but nothing more. We're tied at 3 after 4.5. Toward a month for Alex Gordon with that broken bone, and so the Sox will see Kansas City without Gordon, and we will see who comes up from Omaha to replace him. Jimmy Rollins takes ball 1.
That was particularly nasty. I mean, you see a lot of things happen on a field, but that time when Gordon hit the tarp, it looked like he was completely knocked out.
Left field, Marlon Byrd as out number 1. The one down for Todd Frazier, who has reached base twice, once on a homer, once on a walk.
The ball was hit very hard, and Byrd, battling the sun, made the play. First run of the ball game, a towering home run, and with that first White Sox run, eClick Lending has donated $100 to the Pat Tillman Foundation, supporting military veterans and their family.
A great cause as Frazier takes a strike. So Clevenger a reprieve. He was trailing 3-1 and gets 2 in the 5th from his team's bats. Spikes that one, 2-1 on Frazier.
Clevenger has yet to retire Todd Frazier. If he didn't pitch around him in the 3rd inning, he did a pretty good job of not giving him anything too good to hit after that home run the first time up. There you look at the numbers so far. What he's shown in this, his 2nd major league start, is a very good fastball.
And a penchant for letting Todd Frazier on base. He is 2 for 2.
That was an excellent pitch. I mean, Todd is seeing the ball right now as well as he can see it, because normally you just don't hit this pitch back up the middle. Take a look at the location. You see where Gomes wants it? That ball just barely has a piece of the plate. Guys don't hit extreme pitchers' pitches as hard as Frazier just hit that, unless he's absolutely seeing everything. So he's heating up at the right time. And again, now we have to have Jose Abreu doing the same thing, but Frazier is shown why he's one of the best third basemen in all of baseball, both offensively and defensively. And with his base running, he's a pretty good base runner.
Smart base runner.
Yeah, he is that.
Melky Cabrera. There goes Frazier. He's got this absolutely thieved. Nobody looked at him, and he swipes second base with one out.
A nice job by Melky. Melky, with no count at all, just steps out. He realizes that Frazier pretty much is going to be standing at second base, giving him that running lead into scoring position. Heads up base runner.
My goodness.
And there's Melky realizing that, hey, it's a lot easier to drive in a run with a man at second than it is at first. Fourth stolen base of the year. And it's not because of blazing speed. It's because of opportunistic ability to read pitchers.
Two balls and a strike on Melky Cabrera.
That last pitch might have been the first show that Clevenger is losing a bit, because that hard slider just spun out of his hands. And the bullpen is starting to stir, but nobody throwing yet.
In the dirt, 3-1 on Melky.
We got two of the best pitching coaches in baseball in their respective dugouts. All of you know about Don Cooper, and you've got some talent certainly with the Tribe, and Mickey Callaway does just a great job with them.
Ball four, 2 on, 1 out for Abreu.
I would think you'd be seeing Callaway here only in that, look to me on that breaking ball that Clevenger was losing something. There is Mickey Clevenger. Now he's adding up the pitches and not making a trip to the mound quite yet. So this is a time to take advantage of a young man in his second start, making his 83rd pitch in just this inning, showing some signs of perhaps arm fatigue.
So Clevenger first and second, 1 out. Ball one. What do you see that suggests arm fatigue?
So the breaking ball that slipped out of his hands. I saw a slider that he missed by a good foot off the outside corner. I saw fastballs now that he's having some problems with his location. And a lot of guys that get starting to get tired open up too quickly and leave the ball up on their fastball.
Outside, 2-0 on Abreu.
Yeah, you can see that right now he's lost the release point. When a pitcher does that, it happens for a couple of different reasons. Number one, he does open that lead shoulder, open up too quickly, and you're not going to be able to hit with it. And number two, it's that you realize that your velocity is a little down. So what you're trying to do is force the fastball instead of letting it flow. You lose the movement, you lose the location. And this is when he's very vulnerable. So let's see before they come and get him if the Sox can score against him, because the bullpen just started to throw.
2-0, big pitch. 2 on, 1 out. Went inside, Abreu popped it up. Lindor for out number 2.
That pitch was off the plate, and that's one thing that Jose, thinking about driving in a run, expanding his own strike zone. This ball is a good 3 inches on the inside corner. He tried to pull his hands in. He couldn't quite make the contact and popped it straight up. Dan Otero loosening in the pen.
So Rollins a fly out, Frazier is single, Cabrera the walk, then Abreu the pop out. 2 down for Laurie, DHing today. And he takes off the plate downstairs, 1-0. Clevenger has a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike.
There's a couple things I've noticed with Clevenger, which is a good trait. Joe West has called a couple of pitches that had part of the zone. He called them both balls. Clevenger did not look in, didn't question him. Clevenger, a kid with one of the most senior umpires in baseball. And that really will hold you in good stead because that gets around. You're not going to complain about every pitch. And he's going to get a close pitch after that. Joe West is a good umpire, has been for a long time. Like all umpires, he's going to miss a pitch or two, but if you don't show him up or don't question where the pitch was, you're going to be a lot better off down the road.
Well, when the umpire has a piece of umpiring equipment named after him, that means he has been a very visible, important member of the umpiring community, the old West vest.
Is that because of the W? Or the W for
He
Wilson?
had his own vest that he sold to umpires.
I think it's a great idea.
2-2.
Very good
Laurie.
stop by Gomes. I'm going to change my name to Mizuno.
You are?
Yeah, well, then, you know, the chest protector.
Good business plan. 2-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes on Laurie, who's yet to make it out today with a walk and a single.
Another breaking ball that slipped out of his hands. So the big advantage, the runners will be going, taking the force out of the equation. Huge gap in left center field.
Runners off, 3-2. Swinging a long fly ball, vaporized to left field. It's a 3-run homer for Brett Laurie.
That fastball was right down the middle, and it was tattooed. 6th home run. He's driven in 19. Terry Francona decided to leave Clevenger in the game, and the Ford home run replay, it's a bomb. The second bomb of the day. I mean, both of these balls were absolutely obliterated. Home run by Frazier, the 3-run homer by Brett Laurie. That's a very happy dugout, a very happy Matt Latos, as you would expect, and it's a dancing Melky.
The Sox build on their Major League Baseball lead of dugout hugs. And for good reason with the homer off Clevenger. That is a big smile from Matt Latos as Sanchez stands in. Missed low, ball, no strikes. Third base side, foul ground. Ramirez is there. But 2 out, 2 strike, 3-run home run for Brett Laurie. 6-3 Sox after 5. The Great Clips Summer Sweepstakes details. The grand prize winner throws out the first pitch at Mullet Night, Friday, June 24th, plus White Sox tickets and a pregame patio party. Steve will participate. Great Clips. It's going to be great. Purchase your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME.
I've started my mullet, and I'm thinking with just a month to go, it's going to come down to the wire. And by the way, on Sticks and Stone, if you're using Dwayne Kuiper, I know where his car is parked.
Well, Herm Schneider and Robin Ventura out to check on Matt Latos, who is going to stay in the game.
He was also looking at his finger last inning, and I'm wondering if he's starting to develop a blister also.
What causes that?
Friction on the seams, and different pitchers. Some pitchers will get it with the curveball, some get it with the slider. Very few pitchers will get it with a fastball, but it depends. And it can be a blood blister under the middle finger, under the nail. Yeah. He said, I want to stay in, but he looks down at his finger, looks like his thumb. And again, you use your thumb on the seam just about with every pitch.
Ball to strike on Napoli, who's homered and walked so far today. That was a strike not called. 2-1 on Napoli.
Jenner Navarro was having a little conversation with Joe West without really turning around. He was looking to the side. He was talking about the last pitch that had the whole zone.
That's a low. 3 balls and a strike for Napoli.
Come on, baby, no walk.
Bullpen up and going once again for the Sox, and it's going to be a short string on Latos.
Strike 2. Full count on Napoli. Latos spins it home. And Napoli goes down swinging. Boy, an emotional roller coaster today for Matt Latos, who last inning gave up 3 runs. His glove took the brunt, and then suddenly, after a 3-run Brett Lawrie homer, the hug fest begins. That's how quickly it goes for a pitcher, and Latos just punched out Mike Napoli, much to his happiness. And pumps in strike 1 to Jose Ramirez. 0-2. Confidence is a fleeting thing for a pitcher, isn't it?
Well, sometimes it comes pitch to pitch, and it really depends on how you're feeling at any given time. But you start hanging a breaking ball, guy gets a good piece of it. You throw a changeup that's up, guy gets another good piece of it. Then you have to regain that confidence, get it back again, because the next guy's coming right up behind it.
0-2. Ramirez swings through it, his second strikeout in this game.
So given the lead, Matt Latos has come out firing. 2 hitters, 2 strikeouts. That was a good curveball. And it's Zach Duke getting ready just in case. I would assume that if he doesn't get Gomes, we're probably going to see Duke and Chisenhall, unless there's a pinch hitter for Terry Francona.
They don't let Lonnie Chisenhall see too many left-handers. He's got just 5 at-bats all year against lefties.
So there's a very good chance, and I don't know if they're going to use him in this situation, but you got Rajai Davis over on the bench. He's one of their premier base runners.
Strike after strike right now from Latos.
There's no doubt that Robin and Don Cooper would love to see Latos leave that bullpen with, at the very least, 9 outs to cover. You can get any more than that, that would be very good.
This doubleheader game 1. And there is a fly ball center field. Jackson started back. And a 1-2-3 inning at the right time for Latos. 6 in a row retired by him. 6-3 Sox.
For Clevenger, and Dan Otero comes on for the 15th time. He's been awfully good. 1.10 ERA, only 3 walks. You can see opponents hitting .234, and it's almost evenly divided. No bias on either side of the right or left-hand hitter. So Clevenger goes 5, gives up the 6 runs on 7 hits, walks 3, fans 4 before giving way to Otero.
A multiple-time waiver claim, Dan Otero, claimed by the Yankees, the A's, and the Phillies in his career. Originally drafted by the Giants the 21st round. That's a shot by Navarro to welcome in Mr. Otero. Time for today's fastest-growing sensation, where we quiz Steve about his own career. Sticks and stone. How'd you do against Rico Carty?
Well, his nickname was the Big Mon, and he was large and a very good hitter. Probably not well. Rico could hit. He was as good a hitter in his time as just about anybody around. His claim to fame, I believe, because he was not a trusting soul. He played with his wallet in his back pocket during the game.
Is that right?
Yes, he did. As I remember, I picked his pocket a couple of times after he got base hit. No, he did play with his wallet in his back pocket.
Wow.
Yeah, amazing, huh?
Yeah.
Didn't trust the valuable box.
Down low, 2-0 on Austin Jackson, who's 2 for 2 with a run, a double, and an RBI single.
Remember, some of these numbers probably didn't count because I faced him when he was in the other league.
Still counts.
Oh.
On the ground and through. Austin Jackson strokes a single to left.
Pretty good day for Austin. 3 for 3. The perfect day continues as he takes it by a diving Ramirez. That fastball was down, but it was in the middle of the plate. He drove it through the left side.
We understand there are some technical difficulties. We are working on that problem. Sox leading 6-3, and Adam Eaton, the batter. He lays down a bunt, third base side. Ramirez got him.
That was a great bunt by Adam Eaton, serving a dual purpose. It could have easily been a base hit, but for the play of Ramirez. And Adam Eaton with his 4th sacrifice Just a great bunt. Runners move up 90 feet, and it forces the infield in at all 4 positions.
I was talking to Adam before the game about his bunt the other day that ended up with him safe at first after the bobble by Moustakas. That was early in the series against Kansas City. He said that was his bunt. That wasn't called from the dugout. That was his choice to move the runners over. And so Robin gives him the leeway to do that. And sacrifice here puts Navarro at third, Jackson at second for Rollins, who's 1 for 3. One ball, one strike on Jimmy Rollins, who singled a homer run in the third, got Jackson across.
Chisenhall is a third baseman by trade, so he has a pretty good arm in right field. They're going to run on Bird, most likely run on Martinez.
1-2.
So the first time up against Jimmy Rollins, Jason Kipnis is back on the grass. Good angle, makes a good play. Now the positioning made that play, but the next time he came up with a man at third base, Kipnis couldn't play back on the grass. Had he been able to, that wouldn't have been a hit.
He's in here as Rollins takes in the dirt, not far enough for Navarro to advance. 2-2.
So situations will dictate if you can shift or not. That time Gomes did a nice job. You see him, his initial thought was backhanded. Then he realized if he moved and turned the glove over and blocked it, he'd be able to keep it in front of him.
2-2. Check swing. Ball rings in and out of the glove of Gomes, and he completes the out. So 2 down for Frazier.
High fastball, cannot check his swing. And when Jimmy Rollins sees the ball get away, he goes to first. Their first inclination here is, well, Frazier's seeing it so well, put him on first base. But you got Melky behind him, and he's been as consistent a hitter as the Sox have this year.
Had the big hit yesterday to drive in 2. Frazier takes downstairs. Ball, no strikes from Otero. Couple of runs out there that could change the bullpen stacking in game 1. And a late choice by Todd. 1-1. Doubleheader, game number 1. Game 2 will follow 40 minutes after game 1. Cody Anderson, Eric Johnson, the pitching matchup for the nightcap. Fouled away by Frazier. 1-2.
Well, the bullpen lineup yesterday was Albers, Duke, Jones, and Robertson, and that's normally a group that you associate with trying to hold a lead late. Now, if in fact this lead marches out there a few more, you're probably going to use different pensmen and keep them for the second game.
On the ground at third, Ramirez behind the bag. Finishes the inning. 2 hits, no runs after 6. 6-3 Sox. And you were right about Rico Carty.
Yeah, he's just a terrific hitter. OPS of 938, 361 batting average. But again, a lot of those were when I was really young and impressionable and had no experience, and was with the Giants and he was with Atlanta. So you can't hardly count those.
New pitcher on. That's not Steve Stone.
We had Zach Duke coming in the game. He's got to protect the 3-run lead. So Zach on for the 25th time. The busiest man around. ERA, a pretty good 2.87. And Jimmy Rollins with a couple of words of encouragement. And Duke taking over from Matt Latos, who went 6. Gave up the 3 runs on 5 hits. He walked 1, he fanned 4.
We understand that our feed is still out, at least the video portion. So we are working on that. Hope to have it rectified very soon.
It's a shame because you've never looked any better.
Thank you. Rajay Davis pinch hitting, and he takes a strike called from Zach Duke in the lower portion of the zone. 0-1. Davis pinch hitting for Lonnie Chisenhall, who generally does not face left-handers. 6-3 Sox. Duke drops down on 0-1 and misses up and away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Rajay Davis has had a pretty good run at it career-wise against the Sox. He seems to swing the bat very well regardless of what uniform he's currently wearing.
Pitch is high and tight. 2 balls and a strike on Davis. Chisenhall was 1 for 2 with a run scored.
Rajay Davis, a .302 career hitter against the Sox.
That's a good number for him. 2-1. Swinging a fly ball left-hand side. Melky Cabrera racing in, still coming, angling toward the line. He makes the catch, and 1 out in inning number 7.
Melky was shaking his head because he lost sight of that ball for a while. What outfielders will do, as well as putting up their hand or glove along with sunglasses, they'll angle their bodies trying to turn away from the sun and trying to make the play. So here's Melky. He's got the sunglasses. And he's able to make the catch, but he shakes his head because he lost that ball for quite some time.
Look on his face suggested here is Marlon Byrd, who takes the ball slightly up and slightly away. 1-0. Right-hand batter Byrd, who had a 2-run homer in the 5th. 6-3 Sox in the 7th. This pitch strays outside at 90. 2 balls, no strikes. Outfield playing around to the right for Byrd on 2-0. The pitch cracked foul to the second deck right side. 2-1.
Zach came on yesterday for a 1/3 of an inning in relief of Matt Albers. He got the man that he was assigned to get.
2-1. Swing and a miss at 82. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Thank you all for staying with us. Our feed is back, as you see, and we appreciate your patience or lack thereof, whichever you chose. 2-2 is downstairs. 3-2 on Byrd.
So far, everything has been away in this at bat. So says our Toyota pitch tracks.
We almost had Toyota radio pitch tracks.
Could very well for you. Yes, look at that. Looks great on radio.
Still in development, the radio telestrator. 3-2. Inside, ball 4. Second walk today for Cleveland to 4 strikeouts.
And then Cooper on the phone, wanting to know if the bullpen is ready. It is Matt Albers. And Martinez, who is yet to be retired and is yet to have an at-bat from the right side, will turn around from the right side.
And a ball low to Michael Martinez, who has been Ty Cobb today. Or Tris Speaker.
Or Nat Lajoie from yesteryear of the Tribe.
Well, Tris still has the all-time doubles record, right? I believe so.
Could very well be.
We'll get you a bromo seltzer and check on it.
Please.
2-0 for Martinez. Bird at first. 6-3 Sox. And a ground ball to short. Rollins takes it himself, stops the bag. Double play. 6-3. Inning over. Stretch time. Sox by 3.
Two of the doubleheader between the same teams that are playing in the first game. Beginning at 7 on CSN Chicago.
That was an ad lib.
I did. Thank you. Flexibility is my middle name. I don't know if you know that.
Stephen F. Stone.
Yes.
You've gotten 30 years of mileage out of that bit. Michael Martinez into right field. Rajai Davis takes his spot in center. Chisenhall out of the game after Davis pinch hit for him and flied out to left. And a first pitch here is off the plate to Melky Cabrera. In the air, right center field, Davis and Martinez. Davis couldn't hang on. Melky's off to the races to second base.
I believe we'll see Rajai Davis come in just in time to pick up an E8. It would be his second error. He calls for it and just misses it. And Bob Rosenberg concurs with E8 as Melky pulls up ever so briefly.
You never know what's going to happen. And Davis, his first play in the game, commits the error for one of the top fielding teams in the American League.
Indians have been very good this year. It's just their 20th error of the year. Sox have been equally as good. They've only committed 21.
Got inside on Abreu again. Kipnis has the second straight error. Make that 2 in 1 inning.
I got to believe that the reason why he missed this one is he was worried about the ball hitting the bag. He was in back of the bag when this ball went up the middle. And as he realized it, and watch it again, you see where Kipnis is set up. Now, he can't get it, but he realized that if he doesn't come and aggressively charge that ball, it's going to hit the second base bag. So he has to come quickly in front of he reaches in front. His feet were behind the bag. And that caused the error, and Kipnis charged E4. Runners at the corners. There should be 2 out. There's not.
So, Brett Lawrie, who homered last time with 2 on, takes a ball inside. in again, 2-0. Well, this is game one of the doubleheader, as we told you. Sox are trying to lean on the Indians for a little bit more. Inside again, 3-0.
This is exactly what Otero did to Todd Frazier. He got that fastball right in on his hands. This time, he missed 3 straight times, and Laurie had the 3-0 green light before. Not this time.
3-1. Check swing inside. Laurie walks. Now Sanchez.
Try bullpen up and going, and it is Austin Adams.
Sanchez, along with Eaton, the only 2 to not reach base yet in this game for the Sox. Infield in.
Terry Francona realized at this stage of the game, you can't go for 2 and concede the run. You got to cut down that man at the plate and hope you get a home to first double play if you're going to try to turn 2.
Two strikes on Sanchez, who struck out in his first 2 at bats, then popped up foul to third in the 5th inning. Carlos 4 for 24 in his stint in the majors this year.
Brad Mills right beside Terry Francona. Mills, a longtime baseball man, and knew Terry in his days with the Boston Red Sox.
Sanchez to right field on a line. Martinez is there. Melky tags from third. He is out at home plate.
Michael Martinez has had quite a day today, and that was a pinpoint throw to the plate and no chance at all for Melky. This is a slider down the middle, and Martinez, with all the best of it, catches it on the right side, which is one of the keys to that. Air mails it right to Gomes, and the throw is waiting for Melky to arrive. He catches it and doesn't have to go across his body with his glove hand. And that enabled him to get rid of the ball more quickly, and the throw was right on the button.
Well, that is a really funny way to get to 2 outs. You get a fly ball you should have caught, a ground ball you should have caught, a walk, and then suddenly there are 2 outs on the hardest hit ball of the inning. Now Laurie at first, Abreu at second. Ball and a strike on Navarro. Sox leading on the strength of a Brett Laurie 3-run home run. And now Otero a strike away from wriggling off the hook.
Pen up and going. It's Matt Albers, Nate Jones. Both of them worked in the game yesterday. Albers for a third. Nate for 2/3.
His team effort from the bullpen
It was very good.
secure that lead, which ended in a 3-2 victory. Rodon gave up 2. Then Albers, Duke, Jones, and Robertson. 4 men for 2 1/3. Navarro forced out of the batter's box. 3-2. Austin Jackson has had quite the day. 3 for 3 at the bottom of the card. Looking for a chance here. Three-two. Ball 4. Bases loaded. 2 down for Jackson.
Here's our Xfinity high-speed action replays. It's the day of Austin Jackson. The double and the run scored in the 3rd. The RBI flare in the 4th. And then the base hit in the 6th. A perfect day for Jackson, and we've got a pitching change. Otero will leave. And as he does, we'll step out and be back after these messages. Experts called to the pen, and it is Austin Adams who's been up for 1 appearance. There you see it. It was a good one. Up from Columbus in AAA, although the 1 hit was by a left-hander, so the .500 gaudy batting average isn't that much of a sample size, and he inherits the bases loaded as the Sox are looking for more. Dan Otero leaves the game. Should have been on the bench anyway at this point, but for the 2 errors that led off the inning.
2 hits, 2 walks, a strikeout for Otero. And now the Austin's duel. Jackson and Adams. Bases loaded, 2 out, insurance all over the base paths. Ball 1. Foul right side, 1-1 for Austin Jackson. Don't forget, game 2 of the doubleheader coming 40 minutes after this one, with Eric Johnson and Cody Anderson scheduled. Sox up 2.5 on Cleveland in the division. Kansas City playing Minnesota later today. Royals 3.5 back as we stand right now. High and tight, 2 balls, 1 strike. 2-1. Spiked it 3-1, 96 and way out. Got to throw him a strike here.
And if not, it will change the complexion of who comes into this.
Three balls and a strike. 2 out, Adams. Called strike 2.
Pretty good pitch, actually a perfect pitcher's pitch. And no wonder that Austin Jackson did not swing at it. He's waiting to see one, hopefully a little bit better than that.
Abreu at third, Laurie at second, Navarro at first. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. High ball 4, it's 7-3.
Second run batted in, 16th, and a huge add-on insurance run, and lo and behold, it is the 7th inning.
The Sox have now scored their 37th 7th inning run. That's the most in the American League.
Could not have done it without a little assistance from a normally very good defense with 2 errors to lead off the inning.
Now Eaton on a ground ball to second. 3rd time he's gone there. And that'll do it, but the Sox get 1 more. It's a 4-run game. They've scored in all but 2 turns to the plate today in the series opener. White Sox Kids Club for special Kids Club giveaways, free White Sox tickets, and exclusive events. Head to whitesox.com/Kids Club today to join. 8th inning. And the Sox lead 7-3. A couple of t-shirts into the crowd for a young fan. Because this is a doubleheader game too, we'll have the Steve Stone toss into the crowd. Do the t-shirt toss every once in a while, but doubleheader, the Steve Stone toss, and we'll get you all set up for that.
I'd like to see a little lower booth or a little higher stands before I contemplate that.
It is not optional in a doubleheader. Santana, who watches 65% of the pitches thrown his way, takes a ball.
He'll turn around to hit from the right side for the first time,
where he is just 154 this year.
Many of the switch hitters who are actually natural right-hand hitters will hit better from the left side because they see many more right-handed pitchers than left.
It's outside 3-0. Well, this is right around the time of the game in a doubleheader when the folks who had tickets for the regularly scheduled game start to show up for this game, and they say, what is going on? Did we miss the memo? Sometimes that'll happen. That's
this
a strike,
situation,
3-2.
you know, a decent crowd for the first game, but that was the makeup game. So folks who had tickets for this one will swell the crowd, certainly. The folks who had tickets for the rained out game can come any time during the doubleheader.
Outside, ball 4 is Santana, a leadoff walk. White Sox fans, next time you want to grab White Sox seats, get the StubHub app. We take the price and location of seats and show you which tickets at StubHub give you the best deal. So get the StubHub app today. StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Chicago White Sox. Robin was hoping for a different result for the Indians' first hitter of this inning. Now the left-hander Kipnis. One and one. This is basically the opposite of what the Royals did the last series. Kansas City came in here swinging the bat, first pitch hunting, and the Indians top 5 in the league in Major League Baseball and seeing pitches.
Kipnis certainly is patient right here. He's worked to count to 3-1, so Zach Duke with a very real possibility of walking the first 2 men. Not anything you would like to do, even with a 4-run lead late.
Kipnis gets it foul, 3-2. Well, there's also the consideration of your bullpen going into a second game of the doubleheader as well. Eric Johnson starting. First time in a while he's been up from AAA. Second base and past Sanchez into right center field. Santana going for third. Kipnis is head first into second.
And that a hustle double. So Jason Kipnis turns on the Jets. His 8th double of the year, and that's going to be it for Zach Duke. So Robin comes strolling out. He's already made the motion to the pen. So Zach Duke will depart. We'll step out and be back after these messages. trivia knowledge, and you could win cash. Beer Money, presented by Coors Light. Time now for our Midas Tire and Auto Service experts call to the pen. And it is Matt Albers. 1-3, on for the 21st time. His ERA just a touch above 3 1/4. He inherits Indian base runners at second and third, and nobody out here in the 8th.
30 straight scoreless appearances from August of last year to April of this year for Albers, who looks for another scoreless inning. He's got second and third, nobody out, and Lindor, who takes a little bit low, maybe. Pitch tracks said it was not a ball, but the swing was there, so 0-1. Nothing in 2. Well, if you're not going to get it one way, you get it the other way off the swing.
The appeal to Toby Bassner, and he said, absolutely, indeed, without a doubt, he swung.
Oh, and 2 from Albers. Poke to shortstop, and Rollins is right there, playing close to the bag for out number 1.
Line drive, good positioning. You see where Rollins is positioned, and the line drive goes right to him. Heads up base running on the part of both Santana and Kipnis, as they stayed right there and no double play.
So now Napoli, with Ramirez coming up next. First base is open. However, you don't want the tying run to come up. Ground ball to third. They will concede the run. Frazier to first. Santana home, 7-4. 2 down.
Second run batted in by Napoli. He's got 28 this year. He homered in the second, and now a chopper to third with his second run batted in.
The Sox will trade the run for the out with 4 outs to get in this series and doubleheader opener as Ramirez takes a ball.
Good off speed pitch. That one dropping onto the zone had Ramirez well out in front of it. He had a force out sandwiched in between 2 swinging strikeouts today.
And he's down to the count, 1-2. So second and third, nobody out. Albers trying to minimize the damage. Ball and 2 strikes. Foul left side.
Ramirez came in swinging the bat very well, but not so today. He came in knocking at the door of 300. Hasn't had the ball out of the infield as you look at Jason Kipnis, who has his family and a whole lot of friends at the ballpark.
2-2 on Ramirez.
Kipnis from Northbrook, which is just up the road. He hit .303 last year, a big bounce back year after hitting .240 a couple of years ago. I talked to him that time. He said his swing was just not in sync. He couldn't find it. He really struggled, but last year, no struggles whatsoever.
Just missed inside, 3-2. Payoff pitch. They'll do it again. Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Kipnis at second. Foul again. That was a laser from Ramirez.
That ball was just off the plate, but too close to take, and Ramirez did not want to leave it in the hands of Joe West, so he went after it. You see where the 8 appears in his battling at bat, and he fouls it off to the left.
And time called. Ramirez, number 8 in Major League Baseball with a .298 average with 2 strikes, has gone down 3 times today, and he stays alive again.
Now, you told me one of the most unbelievable statistics involving Todd Frazier, and I talked to Tom Hamilton, the great broadcaster of the Indians, on the radio side. It's one thing to hit .298 with 2 strikes. It's another thing to hit 8 home runs with 2 strikes, and Todd Frazier has that distinction this year.
2 more than anyone else in Major League Baseball.
That's a big number.
Right field, Eaton back, still going, warning track and wall, and it is gone. Jose Ramirez makes it a 7-6 ball game.
His second home run of the year. He's now driven in 17. And just like that, the Indians have battled their way back into this. Our 4th home run replay. It's a fastball right down the middle. And Ramirez, for the first time today, puts a charge into it. Adam Eaton runs out of room. And what had been a fairly comfortable lead turns into yet another nail biter.
Well, this is game number 18,000 for both of the franchises coming up. Indians playing game number 18,000 here. The Sox will play their 18,000th in game number 2, and it's starting to become more memorable than we expected here in game 1. Robin out of the dugout.
There's looking Nate Jones, and Robin has called. So he's going to come into this with a 1-run lead, and as he steps in, we'll step out. Be back after these messages.
Field, meet 2016 White Sox team members and talk to White Sox alumni. Well, now is your chance. Join us Saturday, June 25th for Picnic in the Park. All proceeds benefit White Sox charities. To purchase tickets, visit whitesoxcharities.org.
Time now for the Midas Tire and Auto Service experts. Call to the pen, and it is Nate Jones, who came on yesterday for 2/3 of an inning. He struck out both Perez and Merrifield. And he's on for the 20th time. 2-0, and he's been brilliant out of the pen.
Strike one to Yan Gomes, who is 0 for 3.
Well, despite the fact that it's not much of a batting average, he does have some pretty good power. 6 home runs.
6 doubles as well. 0-2.
A couple of years ago, he hit 21 home runs. Last year, had an injury-plagued season. The run production and the runs batted in were down.
Way outside, 1-2.
David Robertson loosening up. He picked up the save in yesterday's game.
One clean inning to go through 7, 8, and 9 in the Royals order. If Jones were to get Gomes, it would be 7, 8, and 9 scheduled for Cleveland in the 9th. 3-run inning for Cleveland here after 2 came across in the 5th, 1 in the 2nd. 1-2. Just missed.
That was a good call by Joe West because it looked like a strike. The umpires in the stands wanted a strike, but it was off the plate. If Nate gets that slider close to the outside corner, it's unhittable.
High, 3-2.
Rajay Davis in the on-deck circle.
Full count. Fouled back. Three and two. He caught him swinging. Nate Jones secures the lead. Indians get 3, but not 4. It's 7-6 to bottom 8. Sox with the lead, and how big, Mr. Stone, is that run in the home seventh now for the locals?
As they say, it looms large.
They do oft say that.
And I sure hope you brought your slicker for the second game, because it's going to be a little chilly up here.
I have long sleeves.
Good.
Ready to go. You're wearing your Don Ho Hawaiian shirt.
But I have something in the bag. It says 84, but it's not 84. It's 84 somewhere, just not here.
84 Kelvin. 2-1 on Rollins. Jimmy, an RBI single in the third. There's a Hawaiian shirt. Hawaiian shirt day coming up.
Boy, that's my favorite day.
Kansas City's in town.
So soon?
Strike called 2-2.
They were just here. And then we go there. You know, we'll be able to see exactly where we do go on the Travel Wisconsin when that comes up.
Yeah.
In case you were inquiring.
I was unspokenly inquiring, like your audio tweets. 2-2 for Rollins. They play him to pull, and he swings and misses. Strike three, one down. Oh, here it comes.
Time now for our White Sox upcoming schedule, brought to you by Travel Wisconsin. Plan your fun today at travelwisconsin.com, and there it is. The remainder of the series with the Tribe, including the second game of today's doubleheader. And then it's on to Kansas City for the start of a very long road trip, which will see us go to New York and Detroit, our Travel Wisconsin upcoming schedule.
0-1 on Frazier, who scored twice. He's homered, he's walked, and he's singled.
Adams throws a very tight little slider, and Frazier is hoping that he gets it up in some spot that's hittable. And those weren't the two spots.
0-2. Cleveland in the away ninth will have Davis, Bird, and Martinez scheduled. Sox have a great opportunity to expand that division lead to 3.5 with one more today against Cleveland.
It'll be up to David Robertson, who continues to throw, so he's ready to go. Would like another run for the comfort factor, but perfectly willing to nail it down with the one-run lead.
1-2. That's up. 2-2. Frazier, a little hopscotch out of the way. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Sox have walked 6 times already in this game 1.
Including 3 times last inning. And along with the 2 errors and no hits, a big run scored.
Tipped foul.
That was a good hard slider. You have the confidence to throw at 3-2. Put it in a good spot. Todd did a nice job of staying alive.
With 1 out, Frazier is on. Ball 4. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you have come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD on over 400 supported devices. It includes a free subscription to At-Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Got to keep warm in the crowd as the sun goes down. Now Melky, who's been on twice.
Well, nice pickoff throw to first, but it probably would be better if Todd Frazier actually had a lead.
He told us early in the year that happens to him 3-4 times a season, and we've seen it already at least 3 times. He got that running lead as he stole a base back in the 5th. And that was a no contest.
Melky did a nice job on that stolen base of stepping out, knowing that he was almost at second base before the ball got there.
Melky flinches to take strike 2. Abreu next.
Melky shaking his head, wondering how he took the last fastball at 91 right down the middle. But sometimes you just get locked up and you can't pull the trigger.
Outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. That is a pitcher's best friend, isn't it? Sometimes a batter will just let one by that maybe you didn't want to throw.
Well, you know, from a hitting standpoint, you're sitting asking yourself, how'd I take that?
Foul at first.
That was a slider, stayed up in the zone. More like a cutter, actually, because he tried to get it in on the hands of Melky. It appears that the comfort pitch for Adams is his slider. So if you can guess and you believe it's forthcoming, good pitch to run.
Fastball up at 96, 2-2 on Melky.
Nice play by Gomes as he was sitting low and away, and that one almost airmailed him.
Already 17 pitches this inning from Adams, who came in the 7th.
Gomes looking over in the dugout to see if they have any suggestions, and that suggestion is, well, he's called for everything. This is going to be the breaking ball.
He got him swinging. Just the 17th strikeout for Melky Cabrera, 2 away.
Gomes went through his whole arsenal of signs. Fastball away, fastball in, straight change, and then the last pitch was a slider, which was very effective.
Jose now 0 for 4. Indians have pitched him inside all afternoon and now evening. There's the inside corner, 0-1. (7-6). The Sox with the lead with a run in the 7th. Cleveland a response of 3 in the top of the 8th. Go to first.
That was almost into right field. Nice play by Napoli. Gomes is a good thrower. He wants to be a little more accurate than that. Napoli saved him. You watch Gomes as he drops down to one knee and then fires. That play is much more effective with a left-hand hitter than it is with a right-hand hitter up, because a base runner can see it all the way when a right-hander's hitting.
Frazier's off. Abreu strokes it to center field. That's deep into center. Frazier gets the stop sign. Abreu to a vacant second base. Thought maybe Frazier, with the depth of that ball on the bounce, might test it, and he did not.
You see, he's off again. He'd have stolen that base, but here comes Frazier. And a good sign, because Jose has hit 2 balls right on the screws. The first time up, a line out to left. That time up, a double to left center. That's going to bring Mickey Callaway out from the dugout as Todd Frazier looking to see when he's held up by Joe McEwing. And as soon as he saw the stop sign, he broke it down, leaving runners at second and third. And pretty much what he's telling them, if they don't pitch to Laurie, then obviously it's easy. His first base is open. If they do, he's telling him you got Sanchez in the on-deck circle, and Laurie already with a couple of hits and a 3-run homer.
And they are, it looks like, going to intentionally walk. They will intentionally walk Laurie. So the question is, will Sanchez hit for himself in this spot? This is the 15th intentional walk issued by the Indians. They are top 5 in baseball, so Francona likes to use that open base if he can. And they will be loaded as long as this doesn't go haywire. And some talk of eliminating the intentional walk. And here it goes
holding up 4 fingers.
Yeah. See it go over to first.
Just like we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Red Laurie got one down the middle, and he put a charge into it. A 3-run homer, giving the Sox at the time a 6-3 lead. Sanchez hitting for himself with the bases loaded. Hit the ball very hard last time, only to line into a double play. 9-2.
In the air, center field. Davis hitting over. Sox leave him loaded. 7-6 after 8 in the doubleheader, game 1.
Successful 11 of 13 times. His ERA just 1.02. He's going to go through the bottom part of the order, but it's led off with Rajay Davis, who is their most prolific base stealer. So to protect this one, you've got to retire Davis as that young man, and his mom, enjoying the game, would enjoy it a lot more without 25, 6, and 7 in the book.
Well, this game was 6-3 Sox, then 7-3 Sox, thanks to the Laurie 3-run homer, then the run on a couple errors and a couple walks in the 7th inning. But the Indians got 3 in the 8th, and suddenly the bench has to watch a 1-run game. Maybe a good luck milkman.
Hopefully, if he factors into this 9th inning, it's running in and not running back.
Robertson to Davis, ball 1. Rajay Davis 3 for 11 with a couple of walks against Robertson career. Checked it up, 2-0.
Davis 10 out of 13 in stolen bases, the last man you'd like to put on via the base on balls.
Two and one. Now David Robertson, first converted save yesterday in 2 weeks on a late inning heroics on the road and some close losses at home. It's a one hopper, 3-1. Robertson had Herb Schneider and Robin Ventura come out to check on him yesterday, and Robertson was just a little bit dizzy, he said after the game, so no arm issue. Robin said, look, if you're dizzy next time, don't shake out your forearm. That scares us. 3-1. And that is ball 4. Davis on with a leadoff walk.
And he wants his base running glove, which is going to extend the fingers of his left hand so you can't jam him on the head first slide. Sandy Alomar telling him, yes, I've got it. Come down and stand on the bag.
10 steals, 13 tries this year for Davis. Entering the season, he was 7th active in Major League Baseball in steals. Right side toward the corner. Eaton runs out of room on the Marlon Byrd bid. 0-1.
Byrd has yet to ground into a double play this year because he hits most everything in the air. David Robertson with both a good curveball and a fastball that looks like a cutter. If he induces the ground ball, he's going to turn the first double play of the year off the bat of Byrd.
38-year-old outfielder Marlon Byrd. No look at Davis and a foul ball. 0-2.
Davis with a good secondary lead, perhaps testing out the lead he can get against David Robertson. The longer he stays at first, the more opportunities you have to turn to and take away their best base stealer. He's got a little bigger lead at first base.
And Robertson shortens that up with a throw over there.
You see the base running glove on the left hand. That'll be his lead hand on the head first slide.
Robertson to Byrd. Oh, 2. Davis held after bluffing like he was going to go, and it's 1-2. It's a pivot game in the Central. Sox up 2.5. They could go up to 3.5. Cleveland could draw within 1.5 in this doubleheader opener. 1-2. Just low. Two balls, 2 strikes. Davis at first is drawn back. When do you go if you're Rajay Davis?
Right now. This would be the pitch. Getting a very good lead.
There he goes. Swing and a miss. Throw to second is not in time.
So he's in with stolen base number 11, and that's the danger of a leadoff walk to a speed burner. You guessed that this is going to be a wipeout pitch, and it was. It was a good curveball, tough ball to handle for Diana Navarro because it's in the dirt. And Davis in easily at second base. Not much you can do if you're Diana Navarro because it's a wipeout curveball. That's what you're guessing at 2-2. You got to get the out, and you're guessing that you're going to get that wipeout curve.
Well, it's an interesting spot. You have to worry about the runner, but you also have to get the batter out. So you have to call what you want to use on the batter.
That's true, and that's why a great pitch to run.
Ball 1 to Michael Martinez, who is 2 for 3 with a couple of doubles to the right field side.
Well, Rollins looked like he had the good inside position at second base if they want to try a pick off of Davis.
Fouled off by Martinez.
Even when he grounded into that double play in the 7th inning, and that was from the right side, he still hit the ball hard. So he's been up 3 times, and he's hit the ball hard 3 times. Factor in a great throw from right field to double up Melky trying to steal. Not trying to steal, trying to tag up on the sacrifice. He's had a good day.
And he calls for time. Carlos Santana next. One. It's low. 2 balls, 1 strike. Indians got 3 in the 8th to make this a tight game. First foray into the American League for Martinez. 3 years with Philly, 1 with Pittsburgh, and now his 2nd season with Cleveland. 2-1. Outside, 3-1. Three balls and a strike. Davis at second. There's strike 2. What do you throw here, 3-2?
Same pitch he threw before. Try to get him to roll over on a fastball away.
Anxious moment. 3-2. Boy, he has hit a couple of tough pitches today. Fouls that one off.
Navarro wants it away. It's supposed to be a fastball away, and it went low and in. Martinez had a good piece of it, but yanked it foul.
Come on, David, let's go, she says, for thousands of others. 3-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Davis holds, Navarro to first, and Davis back.
Good breaking ball in the dirt. After missing by a wide margin with his fastball to Martinez, he went back to his comfort pitch, the curveball down. Nice block by Navarro. Could turn out to be a game saver. If he doesn't knock this one down, it's runners at the corners and only 1 out. But knock it down he did, and then make the play to first base. So now meeting at the mound to find out exactly what they want to do with Santana. You've got Kipnis in the on-deck circle, so no break there. Kipnis has had a better year than Santana. Santana very dangerous and very patient. You've got to throw him strikes. And he is a much better hitter with all of his power coming from the side that he's looking at right now, and that's the left side.
More than 100 points better against right-handers like Robertson. Santana takes a pitch inside low. Davis at second with a leadoff walk, then a steal. 2 out. And a pivot to second base. We've got a game after this.
This one plenty tense getting into the nightcap.
Robertson to Santana. 2-0.
Career-wise, Santana 0 for 4 against David Robertson. There's a young man a little concerned, along with a few others.
Three balls, no strikes. Kipnis next.
1 for 2 lifetime against Robertson is Jason Kipnis.
He wouldn't swing on 3-0 here, would he?
I wouldn't think so. He's a man that likes to walk.
Strike one.
He also represents a go-ahead run, so he took one. That was right on the inside corner.
Robertson eyes Santana. 3-1. On the ground, Sanchez. Sox win. It was close, it was fringy, and it's win number 27.
Good job by David Robertson. Got himself in trouble by walking Davis to lead off the ninth, but a couple of strikeouts of Bird and Martinez set the stage for the ground ball that ended it off the bat of Carlos Santana. So 2 saves in as many days for David Robertson, who hadn't had one in 2 weeks previous to that. And he comes on, nails down his 12th. Winning the first game of a doubleheader is absolutely essential, especially when you're playing the team that's trailing you.
Sox are now 3.5 games up on Davis and the Indians going into the nightcap of this doubleheader. Boy, Todd Frazier once again had a big day. He was on 4 times.
Not only that, but he's a defensive wizard. This is just an outstanding play. It came very early in this one. And then a bomb of a home run got the Sox on the board, leading off the second inning. So Frazier not only stealing bases, not only hitting home runs, but having a base hit to score a run after the stolen base in the 5th. Quite a day. And when you're on base 4 times, you play the kind of defense he plays, you really have to be happy with the performance. He's really heating it up lately, and it couldn't come at a better time.
His teammate Brett Laurie had a great day as well. He's downstairs with our Sierra Santos. Sierra?
Brett, you were able to reach base 5 times, all plate appearances. None more important than that 3-run shot with the full count. Take us through that at-bat.
Yeah, I was just looking for a pitch just to put in play. I know I had some guys on base and whatnot, so I've been seeing the ball pretty good, thus far, and I was just looking for something 3-2 that I could handle and not try to do too much with it. Just try and put a good swing on it, and the rest is history. So,
8 walks on the day as a team. You had 3 of them, albeit one was intentional. You're a really high-energy guy. How do you manage to stay so patient at the plate?
I think it's just the mentality of really trying to see the baseball and knowing that you really don't have to do too much in order to, to move it into a gap or just to do anything. You really got to slow it down, and you don't have to kill it. You just got to touch it. That's all.
Now, throughout this offensive drought, you've been adamant about being positive. You haven't let your energy wane. How good was it to get a game like this where you were able to put up some runs?
No doubt, especially in a doubleheader, you definitely want the first one, and then we move on to the second one. These games are tough just because yesterday we had a bit of a long game and it was hot out, and we got to get back here and do it again. So, hats off to Matty. He got us back in the dugout. He battled all day. Our bullpen picked us up, and it was a great win for the boys.
And I know Brett's got enough energy for the doubleheader as well. Guys, we'll send it back up to you in the booth.
Sierra, thank you very much. And thanks to Brett as well for spending the time with us. That's a guy that has really changed his approach throughout the year as opposed to his last couple seasons. He's seen a lot more pitches this year.
And I actually believe that he showed a lot more patience. Finally getting a fastball up in the zone that he rode out of the ballpark, that was, at the time, the difference maker. Eventually, another run scored with a couple of errors and 3 walks, and that was the eventual winning run. So we are halfway to Jason Benetti having to eat that sundae, the huge helmet sundae, in 5 innings.
Well, you know, 4 straight wins, we'll take it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll eat whatever. Don't remember that. For our director, Jim Angie, our producer, Mike Leary, our associate producer, Dave Ross, tech manager, Mark Harper, the executive producer, Jim Corno Jr., he's Steve Stone. I'm Jason Benetti. We say so long from U.S. Cellular Field. Coming next, Subaru Postgame Live. Chuck and Bill have it for you, and you've been watching Chicago White Sox baseball on Comcast Sportsnet.